I think probably the media reports that Greek banks have been told to sell their sovereign debt, and several people in the region. If that's so, things could heat up pretty fast. And right behind it is China's move on margins and increasing the amount of stocks that can be shorted. That was a surprise after they closed, and it knocked the futures down about 5% at one point. And then simply the fact that you had that disruption with the Bloomberg terminals, that has kind of a unsettling flash crash kind of response among traders. So I think you put all those three together, and that's why you're seeing markets around the globe doing what.
Short selling doesn't worry me, actually. When you allow short selling, it's actually usually quite good for markets. The margin adjustments, we saw this just before Chinese New Year in February. The market came off a bit. It was a buying opportunity. I think when the regulator's trying to control a rising market, it's actually quite a positive sign rather than a negative sign. Your trade is clearly a good trade, but I think you're going to get an opportunity to buy back in.
I think it's a misunderstanding of this new adjustment in the China markets. Shorting the markets, allowing that to happen, Kelly, isn't necessarily causing markets to be regulatory in the sense that they will drive prices down. Shorting doesn't prevent bubbles. And I think everybody's looking at this as a sense that if you introduce shorting to the China market, all of a sudden that bubble may burst. But if that were the case, Kelly, look at the U.S. We've had shorting here for a long, long time, and yet we've still had market bubbles.
We still think it looks attractive. Investors just need to understand that we're likely to see more and more volatility. That's a function of the Fed really dialing down monetary policy accommodation in its march to normalization. But that doesn't mean it's not a good investing destination. What it means is that we need to be prepared for these hiccups. And this could be a significant hiccup, but it may just be a few days of really downward movement before we find bargain hunters hopping in and bringing back stocks.